I just wanted to make a quick video just showing you how to enter in your figures and your information into the spreadsheet to be able to help generate the information. Okay, so for example, if you wanted to find out what your average grams were or a force measurement that you had or any kind of average, you can pop them in and populate this area here. So I'm just going to highlight this for you just so it helps to kind of, so you can kind of see what it is here. All of these numbers here, cells B3 down to B8, are part of what's going to be calculated for the average. And you can see how it says average B3 colon B8. So that's how we're calculating the average. If we go to the next one down here, standard deviation, or STDEV, is a function which is applied to the same set of B3 to B8. And then finally you can go down to here and you can see how they did. They calculated the standard error, which is the standard deviation divided by the square root of the number that you actually had there. So that's what you're, and so that's kind of illustrated and discussed here. So you're gonna have to be able to make your notes on what you had before. You're gonna want to be able to take, for example, to find out the average of certain numbers or a standard error of certain numbers. Let's say that you did 10 measurements. Right now, B3 to B8 is less than 10, so you need to be able to expand it. So just click here, highlight, insert a couple of rows that you need. And then what you can do is increase your range that you have here to include the number that you would ultimately want. And then repeat the process here. And then repeat the process again here. And note that if you're going to make a change in these in this, you have to change your square root from to this certain number here. So the whatever number of observations that you have. So let's see here. As we start to enter in these numbers, like we got measurements like 0.014, and these were in millivolts because we were measuring the amplitudes of different pulse waves or whatever. But I'm just going to put in some of these numbers here to kind of illustrate what we have. 0.0. And so on. And so you can continue just adding in the numbers like that. And let's pretend, I'm just going to go ahead and just populate these all with the same number for simplicity's sake. And you can see how this started to populate here. Your standard deviation here. And then your square root, you're going to have to change that to the total number of observations that you had here. To mess this up a little bit so we can see square root and standard deviation come into play, I'm going to add that in there. And then for standard deviation, note that we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 observations, so we have to change this to 12, which is fine. So we did that, and now we have the standard error. So that's how we can actually be able to generate those types of that type of information. All right, that concludes our little tutorial. Hope that helps.